Hello, Pokaminders!
And welcome to our weekly PokaPod,
where we discuss everything related to mental well-being as well as our journey as a startup.
I'm your host Yusuf,
And I'm your host Sarah.
and today we're gonna poke some minds.
Hello, Pokaminders.
And welcome to our first PokaPod ever.
I'm your host, Yusuf.
And I'm your host, Sarah.
And today, we're gonna give you an overview on what we do and who we are. And I'll give you a lot of details about why we do this. I'll tell you more about Pokamind and the future of the company.
My name is Sarah and I'm half Swedish, half Tunisian. I'm currently living in Stockholm and pursuing a master's in international business. I'm very interested in consumer behavior, so anything that has to do with psychological factors, so what motivates you to buy something, how you perceive something, and why you would buy something, but also how your environment can impact your consumption patterns. And I'm very excited to be here to share my experiences with you.
So I'm Yusuf. I'm currently doing a PhD in social AI and social robotics. I focus more on human-based research. So I look into human emotions, human behaviors, social dynamics, anything that involves humans interacting with each other, and how can we detect those things using AI and social robots. I've studied a lot about social behavior. I've studied a lot about social dynamics, and this is what excites me. I like talking about how humans and the psychology of humans can be complicated, cannot be summed up in a few words, and that's why we need to understand it more using techniques that are available to us. We're not experts in everything. We're here just to talk to you about the things that we want to talk about. We're here to talk to you about our experiences with mental health and problems that we ourselves faced during our journey creating Pokamind and our journey just generally in life.
So, today we're gonna be talking also about why are we here? Why are we here? It's a very deep question, don't you think? Why are we here?
Philosophical.
It's a philosophical, question. We're here to talk to you about everything regarding your mental well-being. So if you have anxiety, if you have stress, if life is not going your way and it's been hard lately or it's been not hard and you're very excited about life, facing very, very small bumps, this is the place to be. We talk about how you feel, we talk about how we feel, and we address a problem every time.
So, for example, if 1 week we talk about mental well-being and how to deal with stress at school or at work, the other week we can tackle, for example, the most common challenges we have in our business, how we started, and how we deal with miscommunication within the company.
Sounds super cool. All right. So, what is Pokamind? Pokamind.
So Pokamind is an AI-first company, and we focus more on the mental well-being of the person. Our motto is feel, reflect, connect, and basically that's the whole point of the company. We provide you with tools to be able to reflect on your emotions and be able to connect with others a bit more.
So what we do is that we try to combine science and technology to create our tools. So we look into research to build these tools that are tailored for both psychologists and practitioners, but also towards the general public, so anyone that wants to improve their mental well-being, including us. We come from a background where mental health is very stigmatized. So we try to create something that would make mental health care more accessible or easily accessible from anywhere at any point, and that would also provide you with the option to be anonymous. And this is our product, Poka Window. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about how it works.
We created Poka Window to make it as easy as possible to just open up the app, start a session, talk about whatever you want. Either you can pick a topic that we provide for you, or you can just pick a free topic and talk about it. During the session, you'll be talking to either an avatar that just listens to you, or just a blank screen. And during that time, your audio is being analyzed, your facial expressions are being analyzed. At Pokamind, as we said, our motto is feel, reflect, connect. And this is the reason why we try and provide a fully connected ecosystem to improve mental well being. So we provide assessment, treatment, and we provide other solutions for also practitioners. So it will be a fully connected ecosystem to eliminate stigma around healthcare and to make people connect more when they need it.
So today we just want to give you a taster of what we're going to be talking about. And I feel like one of the most important topics that should be highlighted even in the first episode like today is communication. What do you think about communication, Sarah? And what do you think is the most important aspect of communication?
That's a very tough question that I haven't really prepared for. I would say communicating your ideas straightforward, knowing that the other person doesn't know anything about what you're already thinking about. Sometimes I have the issue of just blurting out the conclusions of a very long process of thinking, and then you don't understand anything of what I'm saying, and that can create some problems. So I think being clear and transparent with everything is super important in communicating with each other, and also communicating everything so that the other person knows what to expect from you.
I completely agree. By the way, I mean, a side note first, but I mean, Sarah and I are married. We've been married for not too long, just 4 months now. And we've been noticing more and more the importance of communication. And I think it's one of the things that affects our mental well being quite a lot without us even knowing about it. Because some days we have patience, we can communicate better, we have patience that we can talk, we can decide on what to say and how to formulate things, but other days we just cannot really understand how we feel. So we need this kind of time to understand more. So as you said, I understand, yes, it's very hard to convey other than blurting out, but I don't know, blurting out sometimes is necessary, and not expecting. The only thing that is missing, I feel, is the expectation of the person understanding. So if I tell you right now, oh, squares, you won't really get what I'm talking about, but that's fine. The most important thing for me is to have patience to explain to you what I mean after you ask me about it, and for you to have enough patience to actually ask me about it. So I feel like there's a strong connection about patience and communication.
And I think it's the thing that will make or break a company.
True. That is very true. But in a company setting, communication can be slightly easier because you're restricted to being professional.
Yeah.
But in our case, since we communicate in a very informal setting, it becomes very hard.
Yeah, and we have a hard time separating between our professional life and then our private life, and they kind of merge. So we can sit and watch a movie, and then suddenly we receive something and we have to talk about it in the spot. But that's another topic in itself, separating life from work.
Yeah, it's a very complicated
Yeah.
topic. I mean, I feel like communication would be an umbrella of a lot of things that can include these kind of things. But I want to talk about communication that is regarding how you feel, regarding making the person in front of you understand and make you feel better that you've communicated well with that person.
I think for me, the most important thing is reflecting on myself and how I said things, and how I think about things, to be able to communicate those things in a way that you would be able to understand them too. And sometimes if we are too busy or are not prioritizing mental well-being as much, I think that gets neglected, and then it's harder for us to communicate. So it gets harder to tell you how I feel about things and to communicate what I'm thinking, because I don't know what I'm thinking.
I think I completely agree with you with that. So neglecting your mental well-being is one of the biggest things, and that I keep going back to patience because, again, if you, for example, meditate, that kind of increases your bandwidth of having more patience during the day. If you do things for yourself during the day, you have this capacity to receive people, to receive opinions, and that makes you communicate better. So, in a very wide sense, for sure, the relationship between the person that takes care of their mental well being is kind of directly related to how well they communicate with people and themselves.
And how also they interact with people and the quality of their relationships with people, I think. Like it increases the quality of your relationships. You're able to connect on a deeper level with people too.
Yeah, that's also a big issue, because if it stops at you communicating with people in a superficial sense, I think communication can be fine then, but then, as you said, when it becomes deeper, when it becomes to, oh, I have this person in front of me and I want to talk to them, but I don't really know myself. I haven't thought about myself that much. I don't know what to say. And that in itself is a skill, to try and handpick the things that you say to people, to start actually connecting with them, for them to also talk to you about the things that they want to talk about or anything related to what you said. So it becomes this loop of better communication, which is super cool if you think about it.
So yeah, communication affects a lot of aspects in our lives, and for us to be able to communicate better, we also need to reflect on ourselves and how we feel and know who we are.
And this is one of the topics that we can talk about for I don't know how long. Like we can start talking about this for hours and hours, and probably won't be able to end this. But for today, I feel like just the conclusion out of this, that communication is one of the most important things that people should look into themselves, how they communicate and how they reflect on themselves to be able to communicate better. And I feel like this is the moral of the story for today.
And I guess that's what we will be doing on this podcast too, communicating and reflecting on a lot of things when it comes to mental well-being, as well as our company and the direction we're taking, and just entrepreneurship in general to become better.
Yes, exactly. So in this podcast, we're going to help you communicate better with other people and reflect more on yourself by addressing these kind of topics. But for today, I'm your host, Yusuf,
And I'm your host, Sarah.
and goodbye, Pokaminders, and hope we poked some minds today.
See ya!